Well, hello there, and welcome to another interview presented by me, Jack Lucas Caffrey. Now, today, I'm actually in the Dublin South FM radio studio, where I present the show, to actually do an interview. I usually just come here just to introduce the show and then leave. Well, actually, I'm actually doing a proper interview, and this time, it is with Francie Conway. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Jack, and how are you?
Oh, very good, very good. And it's a nice sunny day, actually.
It is.
And it's sweaty in the studio.
It is. It's summer.
Yes, summer.
Today is the 1st of June. Happy days.
Yes, happy days it is. God. So, I suppose first question I'd like to get into with you today is how did you actually get into music?
How did I get into music? Well, I think music was always part of my life. From when I was a kid, my parents had a pub in Tralee. And when I was 6 years of age, I used to get up on stage and sing Chuck Berry's Johnny Be Good. And rock and roll music.
Yeah.
So it was from a very early age.
And so what made you sort of continue in music?
Well, I mean, what else? I mean, some people are born to be painters. They paint for their lives. Some people are born to be... to dig roads. They dig roads for their life. Some people are born to fly aeroplanes, and they fly aeroplanes for their life. And some people are born to be musicians, and they write songs, and they play music, and they tour, and they make people very happy for their lives.
Yes. What could
Is that answering the question?
I think it does. Yes, I think it does. And and how long have you actually done music for?
I think I've done it about 3 months now.
I'll take that as the answer. And you've also done some bands. You've been in many bands. Two that I could point out is Clutch and The Works. So what was it like in those bands?
Well, I mean, when I was with Clutch was when I was a kid. I was only 16 years of age. And basically we were the first band in Kerry to be playing original material. I mean, you had Rory Gallagher in Cork. You had Philip Lennett here in Dublin. You had different people. Van Morrison was possibly, the first Irishman to make an impression abroad. He was from Belfast. But, I mean, we were kind of a bunch of kids, and we just wanted to be different. We wanted to play our own material. And we actually included a song that I think I wrote when I was 15 on the Hidden Gems album that was recorded live in RTE.
Oh.
And let me see. Here I sit all alone. I feel like a dried up bone, sitting here without sound, not a word coming out. Oh, why can't I get peace of mind, even in this swampy dive? Oh, swamp man, swamp man, swamp man blues are out to kill. Swamp man blues are out to kill. They're out to kill. They're out to kill. And whatever else, I can't remember anymore. But, I mean, that was one of the songs, and it was recorded live when we were 16 years of age in RTE, and it's been picking up radio play, especially in America. It's great.
Gee.
Yeah, it's really cool because, I mean, we put it on as a bonus track, and it kind of showed what a cool band it was as well,
Yeah, gee. I wasn't expecting you to actually play the
Neither
songs.
was I.
keep doing that. God,
Neither was I.
Like that I was vibing to that. Holy moly. And as well as that, you've also done your own solo work outside of bands. So what I'd like to ask you relating to that is, what's the difference between like doing the solo work and doing work in bands?
Well, I mean, I suppose there's a comfort zone being in a band, because you have a group of people around you. And I've been very fortunate, like The Works was like with Peter Lundgren from Gothenburg in Sweden. Martin Curry from Dublin here, Sear de Jong from Amsterdam. So the Works was a kind of a group of people from different countries, and we used to record and we toured together. And you know, we did one particular album with we had Ronnie Drew guesting with us, and Don Baker, Keith Donald. You know, so it was magic. You know.
And maybe say to the younger people out there the significance of having those people on your album, because say there's probably some young people who are like, who's Ronnie Drew?
Yeah, but I mean, I suppose it's like everything comes around in full circle, you know? Yeah. I mean, you know, it's like Irish people only really get the real love of their own culture is when they go abroad. Oh, yeah. And they realise that they're going to be proud of their culture. They're going to be proud of the music that comes from their country. And suddenly they're going to Irish bars, they're meeting people and they're singing Whiskey in the Jar. They're singing all these songs that had to come from somewhere. Mm-hmm. And they came from Ronnie Drew and Luke Kelly from the Dubliners.
Gee.
You know, and I mean, Ronnie had a lot more than just the Irish music. I mean, he used to come over to my house and we were big, like, say, Leadbelly fans, you know? And I remember us I think the last gig Ronnie ever did, we were in a theatre in Castlebar.
Gee.
And I remember the two of us, because I was looking at him backstage and he looks over at me and he says, what are you looking at? And I said, Ronnie, I think you're so handsome, man. I said to him like this. And next thing he went, I'm getting worried about you, Conway. You know? And the two of us went up on stage, nothing planned. And I just started strumming the guitar, and then I asked your mother for you. She said that you was too young. I wish the Lord I'd never seen your face, and I wish you'd never been born. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. I'll get you in my dreams. And then we shared vocal and just continued on.
Gee.
And so it was Ronnie had a lot more than just the Irish songs, you know. And of course, we recorded A Drop of Irish Rain together.
Ah, yeah, really that cool. One.
Yeah. You know, and I was really actually chuffed when the Irish soccer team actually used that at all their stadium gigs.
Gee, I didn't know that.
Before the big football games, and it was really cool at the big games when there's thousands of people there, to hearing the Works with Peter Lundgren, Seared, Ronnie, Finbar Fury and myself blasted out before the games. It kind of brought the team a bit of luck and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And as you just mentioned there, you worked a lot with Finbar Fury, still do.
Yeah,
and
I do,
so
yeah.
What's it like working with Finbar and all the sorts of songs that you do? And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Finn and I have been friends. Like, I think I was 16 when I met Finn. And he was 27 or something. And we did some gigs together. Then I left Ireland. And then I hadn't seen the lads. I hadn't seen any of them for a couple of years. And I was in a TV studio, radio studio in Hilversum in Holland. And at that time, I don't know which record was a hit, but at that time I was wearing all the leather gear, leather jeans and jackets, and, you know, the things you would do. It's, you know, they say being a rock star, you might as well look the part, you know. And I will never forget it. I was at the canteen getting some food, and next thing I heard, woo, woo, look at your man with all the leather gear. And it was Finbar and his brothers. The Furies were in doing a show, and they started slagging the living daylights out of me. And then when I came back to live in Ireland, I got word from the publisher that the Furies were going to record one of my songs.
Hey.
And they didn't know that I was back living in Ireland, and they asked to know would I come to the studio. And so I ended up playing some different instruments with them on the record.
Hey.
And then Christy Dignam and Finbar recorded the song
Hey.
only a couple of years ago for the Hidden Gems album. Somewhere in heaven, there's a place for us. No war or hunger, no pain or hurt. No religious fighting, no borders to control. Somewhere in heaven, there's a place. There's a place for us.
Do you know that's actually your most popular song on Spotify?
I haven't a clue.
Well, it is.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's gotten like over 20,000 something views.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, well, there you go. Now you know.
Now I know. Thank you.
Yes. And yeah, as well as that, you've also collaborated with many other people as well, that some you've mentioned today. Has there been any other people that you've collaborated with that you maybe have not mentioned?
Well, I mean, I've played with a lot of people over the years. I think, I think some of the records I did with Tim Rennick from Pink Floyd and
Hey.
the great Russ Ballard, Jim Rodford, Bob Henrit from the Kinks. I think these kind of records were, kind of... Can I talk as a friend to you? I don't know what a friend should do, and I'm afraid it would hurt inside if all the things I could tell you turned out to be lies. Yeah, so we did a lot of records together and stuff.
Gee. And, as you showed, you have a 12-string guitar in the studio. And in fact, every time I've seen you with a guitar, it's always been a 12-string guitar.
Yeah, and
what is it with the 12-string?
Well, do you know what makes it different from a 6-string?
It has 12 strings.
It has 6 more.
Yeah.
And no, I like. I mean, Leadbelly played 12-string. Who wrote all those incredible songs that Ronnie and I were into and that. And I always kind of liked the sound of the 12-string, and never realised that it would become part of my signature. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, so it's like, I usually when I finger pick, it's like, it's difficult to finger pick, say, with a 12-string guitar, for example.
Yeah.
As the sun rises on a distant shore, gone are the family homes built with love, treasured memories, all that remain, shattered lives, the grief, the pain, but together we are stronger, joining hands across our land, gifting flowers to the oppressor, safe home. Now you understand. Together we are stronger. Together we are stronger.
Lovely.
It's difficult to finger pick with the 12-string, so...
You made it look easy, man.
So I kind of usually bring another guitar with me, but my friend who was coming with me today, Brian from America, said that he wasn't going to lift the big case of the other guitar, so I just brought one with me. So thanks, Brian.
And as you just played there, that is your new single, Together We Are Stronger. Could you speak to me a little bit about that? Because I believe that's all about the Ukraine war going on at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, for someone like me, I mean, the last subject matter in the world I'd want to be writing is an anti-war song, because, I mean, I've written quite a few.
Yeah.
And this song, I mean, I don't think there's anybody who hasn't been affected by what's been going on in the last couple of months. And we are all going to be affected across the world for a long time because of the butchery of what's going on in Europe. And that we're being brought back to where Europe was in the Second World War. It's absolutely atrocious.
Yeah.
And basically, this song kind of didn't give me a choice, but it wanted to be written.
Yeah.
So it kept coming to me. And John Reddy, who does all our designs, I'm not sure if any of you know the Dove of Peace, Love and Rock and Roll that we put out. It was from a song that David Richards from Queen and I did together. You know that band?
Mm-hmm.
And we did this track together, and this dove with the rock and roll became our logo. And John put the dove out on the Ukrainian flag when the conflict started.
Ah, yeah.
And it just went everywhere. It just went, people were sharing it, and it went all over the shop, basically. Mm-hmm. And then I got a letter from a lot of people made contact with us thanking for our support and for showing support to the people in Ukraine. And then I got a letter with a photo from a man, and his apartment had been blown out, but there was a guitar in the corner of the photo that wasn't damaged.
Oh, yeah.
It was an amazing photo. And so I wrote back, and I just said, you know, thank you so much. I hope you're safe. And I said, the guitar is a symbol of hope. Then he wrote back to me. Dimitri is his name. Now we've gotten to know each other. He wrote back to me and told me that the guitar was given to him as a present from Alan Silson from the band Smokey 15 years ago. And it was something that was very special for him that he wanted to keep.
Yeah, of course.
You know, because of... and then I wrote back to him and I said, Alan Silson from Smokey was in my band in the 80s. And he's singing with me on the hit. How many times can a heart fall in love? You see, here goes without even thinking. That's why. Let me try that one again. Let me just try that again.
Let's go.
How many times can a heart fall in love? How many seasons can it change? Open a door and let your feelings show. I take time to find love's ways. Side by side to the edge of time, our two hearts will find a way. And Smokey did the backing vocals. It was something like where I'm singing side by side. The guys used to come in side by side. Can you just try that?
All right.
Side by side,
Side by side.
Can you just try that with me as well?
Oh, we're going to have the
Okay.
two people guesting with us doing this as
Okay.
well. Let's go.
Side by side,
Side by side.
to the edge of time, our two hearts will find a way. And now it gets complicated because you have to do on and on. On and on,
On and on.
to the edge of time. So, I mean, the guys from Smokey were singing that on the record.
Gee.
And we've been friends for a long time. And so, I mean, it was some... And then he finished the letter back to me by saying, "Together we're stronger." And that kind of resonated with me. And then the Late Late Show did a special on Ukraine for the Irish Red Cross. And one of the gentlemen from Ukraine who told his heartfelt story finished by saying, "Together we're stronger." And I just thought, I don't believe it. I really don't want to start writing a song right now. But I just could not do it.
The music just sort of forced you in.
And now it's been recorded by a girl called Alexandra in Ukraine, in Ukrainian.
Oh.
And they're working on a video at the moment, to kind of a dramatic video, they told me, so as that they can show the people in Europe exactly what's happening in Ukraine. So, I mean, to have a song that's kind of gone beyond the music thing is kind of cool, you know.
Oh, fair play.
And it's picking up a lot of radio play. The guys in London told me from stations, some stations in America and lots in Britain. It's been playlisted in quite a lot of stations in South Africa and Australia, different countries. So it's kind of nice that, you know, that I can write a song, record it, put it out. And it's all about showing support.
Yes.
You know, giving support, us showing that those, for people, that they're not on their own.
Yes, without a doubt, without a doubt. And you will be having your brand new album coming out very soon, Another Night in Amsterdam. So what's this whole album all about?
Well, you see, it's actually a kind of a weird one, really, because the Hidden Gems was brought out during the lockdown.
Yeah, and great album, by the way. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it.
I mean, it's a rock and roll album.
That's great.
And you know, the response we got from the album is still moving all the time. And the guys in London in Sunfish Music and the publishers started saying, you know, is there more of Francie from that particular period that we can bring out, you know, that people wouldn't have heard. And then we realised that there was a mix of my first album done that had never been released. And it was really kind of a rock and roll with like a 4-piece band in a studio. And so we started to look at it and go, oh my God, I couldn't remember the songs. I mean, surprise, surprise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew 2 songs on the album, that's it. And when I sat down and I listened to it, I went, God, that sounds good. You know what I mean? It was like things like... Suddenly, a heart starts beating. Streetlight energy comes true. Saturday, it's been worth waiting. Just to meet someone like you. Put on all my best clothes. Feels so good, you know, that could be new. Tonight the world stops revolving. That's how it feels when I'm with you. That's how it feels when I'm with you. Fly with the night to the one you love. Fly with the night, for she's the only one. I mean, I'd forgotten I'd written that song.
Gee.
Maybe you'll say it was better off forgetting it. I don't know. And, you know, there was quite a few other songs. There's one song on it called Listen to the Silence. And I got a surprise when I listened to it, and I just thought, if I had never ever wrote another song, I would have been happy to say I wrote that song.
Gee.
And that's quite something for a songwriter to say, And then we put on, it was the original version of To the Edge of Time and One Night in Amsterdam, which was a hit for us as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so as bonus tracks, we put it was David Richards from Queen who actually mixed To the Edge of Time in Amsterdam that were the hits. So we've put those on, the Montreux mixes, Montreux and Switzerland mixes, as bonus tracks with the album.
Very good.
And then I found something very special because when we were mixing that album in Montreux, David Bowie came into the studio.
David Bowie?
Yeah, he was from Brixton. Have you heard of him?
David Bowie?
Yeah, David, yeah.
Yeah, of course I've heard of David Bowie.
He came
moly.
He came into the studio and he wanted to ask David Richards would he produce an album with him. So David met up with him that evening. I was delighted because I'd a night off. Mm-hmm. Sometimes David would continue working late into the night, but he was having the two Davids were going for dinner. So at least Chris White and I could go and have a couple of beers and hang out in Montreux and have a bit of fun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then David ended up, from that day, he ended up producing with David Bowie the Iggy Pop album, Blah, 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 which is one of Iggy's biggest albums.
Gee.
And then he ended up joining the two Davids together, ended up recording for quite a few years. And one of the, they did like China Girl, they did Let's Dance, they did loads of great tracks together with Let's Dance. They brought Erdal, who used to play with us. He's a Turkish multi-instrumentalist who lives in Switzerland. So Erdal came in with them, and a guy called Nile Rodgers from the band Chic.
Nile Rodgers?
And they started recording together. But David, at that time, gave me a present of a cassette of one of my songs called Don't Mess With My Heart that he did, but it wasn't for the record company. He just said, this is for you. And I put it away. And when this album was starting to come around, I knew I had something special upstairs in my studio. So I went looking and I found the cassette with this 6.5-minute version of Don't Mess With My Heart, which basically David was just showing off at how good he was. He was just showing off that he's the best producer, engineer. And I mean, after that, he joined Queen as the fifth member. His first record was It's a Kind of Magic with the guys,
Gee.
And, but it was basically the template of Let's Dance was basically what he gave me. And that was a couple of years before David, Niall, Erdal and David Richards recorded Let's Dance together.
Gee.
It was actually almost like his demo for David Bowie and for Freddie of saying, this is how good I am, So we have that as a bonus track on the Amsterdam record and the album coming out as well, which I'm so proud of,
Well, that should be interesting to hear. What was that actually like with David Bowie?
Well, I mean, he came into the studio. David was like, he wasn't the David Bowie that you see on TV and stuff. Very normal guy. And I remember he came here to Dublin, and Erdal, they were doing a show on the Point, and we went to meet them there. But they gave me a call the day before to come down to the hotel, and the boys were having a bit of fun, so they wanted us to join in. So that was kind of cool.
Hey, that's cool. And when's your new album, Another Night in Amsterdam, coming out, actually?
It's coming out in July.
Great.
Yeah, it's coming out in July.
All right, well.
And I'm looking forward to it because there's a new version of, what was it, like... The warm winds go and the night has come. The streets are crowded when the lights go on. Some out there looking for romance for a while. The town is ready for whatever's your style. See me, I got some things in mind. Look up some old friends I haven't seen for a while. Tonight I'm ready and you're here with me. I'll show you loving as it used to be. One night in Amsterdam, all I need to help you understand. One night in Amsterdam, show you something just what I am. One night in Amsterdam. So I suppose the album is kind of us going back for another look.
Yes.
Did you ever go anywhere that you really, really enjoyed and you thought, I'd like to go back for another look?
Yes, of course.
Well, that's what this album is all about.
Nice.
We're just going back for another night in Amsterdam.
Nice. Nice one. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Well, the album will be coming out in July, so you better not miss it. Now, I'd love to have you all day, but I'm going to wrap up with just a few last questions before we go. So I'd actually like to speak about some of the other instruments you have, because you mentioned you also have a 6-string as well. So what other instruments do you have? Do you have like a massive collection of them? I remember interviewing a guy named Murray Cook from the Wiggles, and he had like a ridiculous collection of guitars. I mean, he had too many, if I'm being honest with you. But...
Yeah, I have a lot of guitars, yeah. Mm-hmm. Working guitars, like I have them all for particular reasons. Mm-hmm. I have some mandolins. I have one in particular that's about 120 years old.
Gee.
It's absolutely beautiful piece. I have piano at home. I mean, I have a lot of instruments. But my guitars are very special for me.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I have an old Strat, that used to be very pretty, but it looks battered and bruised and broken, a little bit like me,
Oh, I wouldn't say that exactly, but...
a little bit like me.
Maybe not exactly. Maybe not. But, and as well, you also mentioned as well that you went touring with some of your bands. So what places did you actually go with your bands and stuff?
Well, we went to Finglas. We went to Ballyfermot. We went to Dunleary. No, I'm only kidding. We've toured a lot in many different countries, from all different parts of Europe, Scandinavia. My wife Mona is Swedish.
Oh,
and I've been to more places in Sweden than she has, and that's just like, but for me, it's like I would have been a lot of places, but it's just hotel, sound check, show, that kind of routine.
Yeah.
So I would have done, I would have been, a lot in America, Australia, New Zealand, Tasmania, France I love France, Holland, Belgium. England.
Gee.
Yeah, lots.
What was your favourite country to tour in?
To tour in, I think actually Sweden was very easy to tour in. For the simple fact that it was just, especially when we went to the north of Sweden. I mean, we went up by the Arctic Circle and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I can remember every time in the coach, when we would turn a corner, it was like the guys would be shouting, stop the bus, we want to get photos. It was like, there were like postcards everywhere we went. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was just just very, very, just beautiful,
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
And then I remember one time I was doing the 6 o'clock news in Umeå, way up in the north by the North Pole.
Hey.
And it was really funny. I got into the cab because they wanted to have me on the 6 o'clock news that I was in Umeå. So it was so they sent a car to collect me, and I was sitting in the back of the car, and next thing the driver just said to me, he said, I had a friend of yours here a couple of weeks ago. And I said, oh yeah? He told me you were coming. And I said, oh, really? Who was that? And he said, Noel Redding from the Jimi Hendrix Experience was here in the university and he was doing the same show. And suddenly, I mean, this guy now, I mean, he just came to do a taxi run. Then after the show, he came back to bring me back to where the concert was in the university. He ended up spending the whole night with us. Do you know what I mean? It was that kind of way. Hey, man, why don't you come in and have a beer backstage? Yeah, I'd love that. You know what I mean? And then he said, yeah, Noel said it would be like this, all right. You know, a bit of madness, a bit of, you know, and it was great, you know. So, I mean, like...
Oh yeah, that does sound absolutely great. And I know you've done some songs with your son as well. Like you have a little birthday song with him that you do sometimes. So what's it like working with your son and stuff?
Today, stay lucky, it's happy birthday. Another year rolls on by. Guess you dodged a few bullets in your time. A few close shaves, well, you know, Jack, that's life. Today, stay lucky, it's happy birthday, happy birthday. I mean, with Rory singing that went all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think one of the highlights was Hot Press magazine asked us to know would we do it for our president, Michael D. Higgins, for his birthday. And I thought that was kind of cool, you know. And Rory's been, it was like, I suppose during the lockdown, it was like, the first song I wrote during the lockdown was with Pete St. John. You know Pete, who wrote some wonderful songs like The Fields of Athenry and Dublin in the Rare Old Times. And sadly, he passed away a couple of months ago, a great guy. And the first song I wrote was with Pete, called the Isolation Blues. And I wanted to send it to Pete, but I didn't know what was the best way. So I thought, if I film it on the phone and just sing it, then at least he gets an idea about the song. And then I thought, I'll get Rory to sit in with me, because that'll save Pete phoning me back to ask, how's Rory? So I thought then he'll see Rory and he'll hear the song at the same time.
Yeah.
So that was a Sunday, and I sent it off. Next thing, I got a phone call on, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, from some magazine or something. Can you tell us a little bit about this song that's floating all over the internet? And I was going, sorry. I hadn't a clue what they were talking about. So Pete had shared the song, and the song Self-Isolation Blues just went, shoom, gone all over the place. So then I thought, I'll do another. I mean, this is an opportunity to start writing songs. So, and I thought I can include Rory. Rory's a good singer. So he kind of established himself. As you know, Rory's special needs. He's in Enable Ireland, who are an incredible group of people. And he's in Enable Ireland Adult Services. And Rory, so because of the lockdown, he now is, like when we were saying earlier on about, is somebody digging the roads, or if somebody's flying aeroplanes, or me playing music, Rory is now a singer.
Gee.
You know? And he's been to more recording sessions than most professionals in Ireland. You know, I mean, he knows, he's been to so many studios. And I think one of my highlights with him was that we were in Switzerland and he was in Queen's studio.
Oh.
And Rory would always want to come with me anytime I was going anywhere. So, and I remember like saying to David that, like, do you think we might have a beer or a glass of wine later on this evening? And if you don't get to the supermarket in Montreux, you have to go to the restaurant to buy stuff, and the prices are crazy, you know. So when you get caught once, so I was kind of watching, and I said to Rory, I said, Rory, do you want to come with Dad? I'm just going to go down to the store to get few bits. And he said, no, Dad, I'm happy out here in the studio. and he was sitting down, and David turned around and he said, "Nice one, mate." And it was so lovely. So I left the two lads sitting there in the studio, and he was a huge Queen fan. Rory is a huge Queen fan, so it was magic.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. Well, we'll have to bring Rory on eventually and have him play with you.
And I'm just thinking now, for all the wonderful people here at the radio station, I've had a request.
Oh yes.
I suppose I better do it, because otherwise I'll never be invited back to this establishment again. And nobody will give me directions of how to leave, which means I could be wandering around this building for maybe 2 or 3 days. You know what I mean? I suppose, in a way, this kind of tells a lot about who I am as well, you know. The troubadour, that's what I am. Singing songs live in a traveling band. Singing songs of life and songs of hope. And songs that make your heart beat fast. The troubadour, that's what I am. No need to worry, don't be in a hurry. Take it easy and start to chill. Gonna take you away on a trip tonight. Fasten your seatbelt, get ready to fly. The troubadour, that's what I am. Singing songs of life in a traveling band. Singing songs of life and songs of hope. And songs that make your heart beat fast. The troubadour. I haven't played this one for a long time, so I can't rightly remember all the words and stuff. But I hope you enjoyed it, because the troubadour is what I am.
Well, there you go, Peter Rice. I hope you're happy out with that. Well, look, Francie, look, it's been great having you on, and I would have you on longer if it wasn't for the fact that I'll be kicked out any moment if I stay any longer.
But
so,
also,
Francie,
the temperature is rising in here.
Yes, I'm sweating like crazy.
Know.
So, Francie, thank you very much for coming on.
Well, thank you for the invitation, Jack. And
is there any sort of last things you'd like to say, and any sort of socials you'd like to plug, and maybe the plug in the album again?
Well, I'd just like to wish you and all the listeners and everybody here in Dublin South and everybody who's listening, I'd like to wish them the gift of peace, the gift of love, and the gift of rock and roll.
And is there any song that you'd like to finish out with?
Did I sing something earlier on?
Yes, you sang a good few, but is there any other songs that you'd like to finish off with?
Sure, I mean, I'll just think of something, will I?
All right. I'll do the little outro and then you think of a little song. So, with that, thank you very much for listening to this interview. If you're listening on the radio, you will hear another interview very soon. But if you're watching this on YouTube, just subscribe to my channel, Jack Lucas Caffrey, to see more interviews like this one and other sort of random stuff that I end up doing. But Francie, thank you very much for coming on. And let's finish it off with one final song. Take it away, Francie.
Well, it is summer, isn't it?
Yep.
They say grass is always greener on the other side. Take a good hard look around. It's all in your mind. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else but here right now. Sometimes you just got to slow it down. See what you will find. Staycation, staycation. Let's stick around, explore our treasures. Rivers, lakes, mountains, the sea. Forest, meadows, wetlands, the beach. Explore our treasures. Let's stick around. Staycation, Staycation with weather like this. Why go anywhere but then? Why go anywhere only for the weather? A good day is one you can't leave behind. Out here in nature, we are one of a kind. Sometimes it's hard to see just what you got until you leave it all behind. Staycation, staycation. Let's stick around, explore our treasures. Rivers, lakes, mountains, the sea. Forests, meadows, wetlands, the beach. Explore our treasures. Let's stick around. Staycation, staycation. Wishing you a wonderful summer. Staycation, wherever you're gonna be.